Hello there. We have the honour of being joined today by the founding members of the religious movement, the prathood. We are joined by Mr. b-rad.
Hello!
And Mr. BJ Hammond, aka the Slammond. So here we are.
Bye bye.
So
Bye bye.
Right. Right. Well. Yeah. How about you just give us a brief rundown then on this religious movement you formed and why you think it might be of interest to our viewers.
The basic practice is one of unconsciousness, so as to maintain a pure state of unawareness, so as to expand one's unawareness to take in every possible facet of one's personal consciousness.
Oh, right. So this state you refer to, what exactly? How is this achieved? And maybe just clear that up. I don't quite understand.
Well, the main sort of goal is to consume as much alcohol as possible. That's your initial stepping point. Because once you've consumed so much alcohol, you then become unaware of your environment, perhaps the effect you're having on others, your mannerisms, perhaps abusive language might just sort of pop out, and we encourage that. You know, we really like to work with the abusive nature of humanity. We really like to bring out the sort of core offensive behaviour.
So I mean, there are some people who might get very drunk, but just sort of.
A lot of them fall asleep, which we think is just a bit of a letdown.
Okay,
But to remedy that, you can quite often, you can add to the mix certain narcotics such as MDMA, amphetamines, and quite often, right, paradoxically, we like to introduce hallucinogens into it, which there's this common misconception that and the odd doob, which can be considered an hallucinogen, I suppose, at times.
Yeah. Sorry.
A doob, yes, a marijuana cigarette.
Ah, I see.
Yes. And with hallucinogens, what we like to do is take something that would purportedly raise one's consciousness and try and achieve a state of pure unconsciousness whilst within that state.
That sounds very interesting.
It's very. You'd have to be quite a prat to do it.
So, is this sort of? It has parallels with sort of, maybe like the peyote church in America. You kind of, are you seeking like some sort of immunity from law to use your narcotics or?
I think we're just looking for appreciation.
Okay.
I think we're looking for freedom to express our religious beliefs and practices, such as drive-by spunkings. We get no end of grief for that.
Sorry, a drive-by spunking.
We get it back to me for them.
We have a lot of trouble, don't we, Sam? With our drive-spunking.
A lot of them have gone wrong, haven't they?
Can you just explain to our viewers what a drive-by?
Well, what you want to do is you want to start with a pre-wank, really, don't you? Generally, like
yeah. You've got to start out with a nice pre-wank. If you'd like to elucidate what a pre-wank is.
Well, what you do, you build it up until you're about to fucking blow, and then you stop, right? You put it back in.
Occasionally, but you squeeze the tip.
Squeeze the tip,
if necessary.
Of the penis.
Of the penis, yes.
Right, just before ejaculation.
Prior to ejaculation, but almost at the point of.
Right.
And then the key there is to maintain that feeling. It's a bit like tantric sex. You have to sort of like keep topping yourself up with the occasional jiggle.
Yeah, I've heard you need to sort of like abandon your ego in order to be able to do this sort of thing. Like with tantra, they say you have to.
Well, not so much abandon your ego as enhance it. And try and allow it to overwhelm you so as not to really have any moral consciousness whatsoever and become completely self-absorbed. In fact, enhancement of the ego is a key facet of our religious beliefs.
Really?
Yes.
But wouldn't the ego be potentially something that might get in the way of people wanting to behave like a complete... because they might be worried about personal, consequences.
This is why that's what the hallucinogens and large amounts of alcohol are for.
Right. Yeah.
They remove those inhibitions, stupid inhibitions such as not spunking on your grand's face, or not getting punched through a wall, or you know, not saying really highly offensive
Not
things.
sort of, alienating all your friends.
Especially alienation's a key one, isn't it?
Slammond's got that one down.
He's got it down.
Because, you know, I would think if I was going to behave like that, I'd need to sort of like, I'd need to completely lose my ego, you know, because I'd have to not care about.
Well, and stuff, hallucinogens, but then you bring your ego back in with a load of coke up your fucking pocket.
Right.
And the key is to become so arrogant and stuck up that you don't care if you offend anyone, because you know you're having a good time.
Yeah. Okay. So, right, is that basic? I mean,
that's the fundamental principles.
I mean,
we do have a thing about renunciation of personal hygiene standards. That's very important to it.
Footwear.
And comedic footwear. I mean, let me give you a prime example of
is there also
the sort of footwear you might find on a prathood.
Is there also something to do with like
moon boots,
like foot odour? Because those are really quite smelly.
Yeah, I mean, we like to cultivate a strong foot odour so as to, you know, let people know. It's like a secret code, a bit like the tracing a fish that the Christians used to do when they were being persecuted.
Yeah.
We do it with our stinky feet. So if someone's got really stinky feet, you know they're probably a member of the prathood.
No, okay.
And the more stinky, the higher up in the ranks they are.
And it just sort of, it's an extra level of offence, really, isn't it? You know, if you... When
well,
you're
it's the way, you don't even
know,
have to speak or say anything.
It's just an extra level, you know that you've alienated these people and you stink, you know. It just makes it a bit worse.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. That's what it's all about, isn't it, Simon? It's the way forward.
Well, I remember the time we were around our mate Jules' house, and he stank like a fucking noble. And then he rounded it all off by trying to have a cack in the bin.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the prathood, I mean, do you think there's any sort of, is there really some kind of deep moral statement you're trying to make, or some kind of comment on society?
It's similar to sort of dystopian views, or perhaps some sort of, what are they called? You know those chappies who try and destroy all moral function? Satanists.
Nihilists?
Nihilists, no, almost.
Okay.
The Discordians, they're the chaps.
Okay.
Yeah, I like a nice bit of discordia. It's essentially we're contributing to the downfall of the human race.
Yeah.
We're trying to get in the way of that process of sort of gradually evolving to be sort of more cooperative and more pleasant to one another, and create a harmonious society, and really create a nice bit of discord within the core aspect. I mean, war's brilliant. We don't condone the murdering bit, but we like the fact that nobody gets on. We think that's fucking great.
Right, so I mean, I suppose like your ideal world, everyone would just be
around abusing each other, sort of.
Yeah, just off
I mean,
their
what
heads.
would you say, Slammond? What would our ideal world be?
Well, I think it would be a world where everyone drinks a boomer.
Quite a lot of boomers.
Sorry, could you just tell our viewers a boomer?
A boomer is a premium strength of Ranger boom. You can normally purchase them from your local news agent.
We are hoping to get sponsorship from Orange Boom.
Have you had any comment from Orange Boom yet about?
I've been offered an endorsement by them.
Really?
I like a boomer, and they know I like a boomer.
Are they quite aware of your prattish activity?
They've seen me in action a couple of times.
Yeah.
We're looking at making a promotional video with them. It's essentially us driving by in a lowrider. We like a lowrider, don't we? Like a nice little lowrider, winding down the window, ejaculating. This is Orange Boom Premium Strength Lager, guaranteed to get you full body fucked or your money back.
And I can guarantee it.
Oh well, if you're listening, Orange Boom, you know, I think you know these guys could be your new poster boys. Here you go. Right, well, it's been really fascinating. So I hear there's a book people can get hold of.
Well, there's two books. There's the Dharma Pratra, written by myself.
And this is a sacred text.
It's highly sacred text. It explains the basic principles in a bit more detail. I'm doing a video blog at the moment, and you'll be able to find it posted up on my podcast, which is me reading the Dharma Pratra.
Okay.
Then we've also got, written by Slammond over here, I Boy, The Way of the Prat.
Okay.
which is essentially about activities of Pratt's and chronicling his own development.
Okay, so it's kind of
from
like
sort
an
of
insider's
normal,
view
respectable
of
human society to, you know, subterranean sort of,
Okay.
and then it delves down into the true depths of unconsciousness and reaches sort of Pratt-Lightenment, and that was what really started the movement, and it's kind of a chronicling of that.
Okay, cool. So that's quite interesting. It's kind of like you've got an insider's account of what it's like to be a Pratt. And
It reveals a lot about himself and the movement. You know, there's a lot of stuff in there about you know, our followers as well. We've got quotes from Deepak Chopra and Ken Wilber. They've all got their commentaries and you know.
I hear Tom Cruise is interested in the Tom Pratt show as well.
Yeah, he's a strong follower. Yeah, he's been doing it himself for a long number of years. And I think he realised that sort of it's kind of his thing, you know. It very much suits his disposition.
Charlie Sheen, I think.
Charlie Sheen should be one of our poster boys. We've been trying to describe him, but we can't get him out of fucking Betty Ford for long enough.
That's his crack.
That's his crack, that boy. Winning. Well, we certainly think he is.
I imagine that you guys, would probably get along with him. Well,
you can beat me now, boom chum.
Well, I think some sort of
he's a blood brother, lad.
some sort of inside communication going on here. Some kind of chants, maybe. I don't quite know.
These are all sacred catchphrases. We're just giving you a display. Hey!
Wow. So
these are the sorts of things we use to sort of cajole and harass the public. You know, it really breaks them out of the box. It takes out that way from that sort of ant syndrome of wandering through your life, being content, perhaps, you know, overachieving in a lot of areas in your life. And we like to bring that down a notch. Wake them up from that little stupor of happiness and enjoyment, and sort of remind them of the darker, more sort of annoying sides of life. If you see what I mean?
Yeah, right. I mean, do you sort of repeat these things quite like, you know, like a chant?
They're like our mantra,
Nice.
Do you like to reel off a few catchphrases, Joe, for the audience?
I spunked in the face!
I smoked in the face.
That's a classic, that one.
Spunked in the face!
He's got hands on the teeth.
Yeah, you're doing well there. Maybe you could be a Pratt.
I think I'd love to be a Pratt, really, yeah. It sounds like just up my street, really.
Is it your sort of thing? I mean, what's drawn you to it?
I just, you know, I hate personal responsibility, you know, I enjoy a bit of a.
Would you be interested in doing our deacon exams?
Your deacon exam?
Yeah, if you want to, you can become a deacon and then work your way up to, you know, archbishop, and then. And you know, and all you have to do is basically that we have like a trial test. I mean, any of you out there can do it. It's basically if you can stay standing whilst consuming 4 grams of magic mushrooms and drinking 12 cans of boomers, then you're in.
Okay,
that's all it takes.
I'm sure I can manage that. Yeah,
you know, and anything bad that might happen, any sort of spin outs or vomiting or you know, offending people, especially offending people, that just gives you more marks.
Right, okay.
You could ascend. You know, if you can knock back a few boomers and still have a good rant, then you know you work your way up the ranks pretty fast.
Great,
good stuff. Then we'll exchange numbers after the interview.
Yeah, absolutely, right. Well, I think I'm sold there, guys.
You can be my new bum chum.
And a pocket bum wank.
Oh yeah, I think I'm
giving it the old rusty trumpet.
I think I'm off to have a pokey bum wank and a bit of a shant and a pre-wank with these lovely lads. If you'd like to join us,
boom boom boom.
You should contact b-rad here or Mr. Slammond, and we'll get chanting.
See you next time. Aye!